Hi, and welcome to a video about paraphrasing and plagiarism and what the difference is between the two. The problem is that there's a very fine line between paraphrasing properly and actually plagiarizing something. So let's look at the differences. Plagiarism, as you may already know, it's certainly listed in your planner as a student at any school that you go to, including this one. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own, and it is an absolutely unacceptable method of presenting any type of research. As you go through your educational career, whether it's in middle school or through high school, or if you decide to go on to college, or at a university, plagiarism can get you into a great deal of trouble, whether it's intentional or unintentional. We'll talk about that in a second, but at the college level, it can certainly get you expelled from a university. At a high school level, it could get you a suspension from school. At a middle school level, it might get you a behavior slip or a referral and an on-campus suspension, depending on the severity of the plagiarism. So, and certainly when you're an adult and they've found out that you plagiarized a lot of your work, it can end your career, and it has for many different scientists and journalists and authors. Um, Intentional plagiarism occurs when writers are very aware that what they are presenting is someone else's work, and they're trying to pass it off as their own work. For instance, as a student, you may go to a website and copy paste a paragraph or two into your essay and call it yours. Or you might end up going to a website online and finding an essay that pertains to the subject that you are meant to be studying, and then simply putting your name on it and turning it in as your work. That is intentional plagiarism and will land you in very deep trouble. Do not do that. But unintentional plagiarism is a slightly more difficult thing. It occurs usually when writers are either don't know what they're doing in citing material, or they're careless about it. They're not thinking. They may forget to put a citation at the end of a sentence when they had intended to do it. Um, or they're paraphrasing things, but not only simply juggling a few words around and saying, well, that's good enough. Well, it's not good enough. And you may think that you're doing things properly, but you're not. Paraphrasing what you need to be doing. It is the use of research that's presented in a new form. It's you presenting your own ideas and then using research to support those ideas. And that's what paraphrasing does. So let's learn the difference between the two, paraphrasing versus plagiarism. When you're asked to do research in your writing, and your task is not to go out and just copy and paste someone else's work and ideas into paper and call it your own. When you do that, when you're just copying and pasting, it's simply an exercise in using technology. You aren't doing anything to create your own critical thought, to do your own type of writing. Anybody, a trained monkey, can copy paste something into an essay. It doesn't require any thought at all. And that is unacceptable. When you use research that you are trying to create something new, you use others' ideas to support the things that you want to say. Unfortunately, a lot of students just change a few words here and there. And when you just juggle a few words around, you say, go to a thesaurus and decide that you want to, just change a few words here and there. You're not creating something new. It's still someone else's work. And that is a type of unintentional or maybe even intentional type of plagiarism. It's lazy. To paraphrase properly, you need to express the ideas that you have found elsewhere into your own language and style. One of the best ways to do that, honestly, is point form note taking. We'll talk about that later in this video. And point form note taking is not a where you just change a few words here and there. You actually put things in your own words. In fact, if you use more than 3 words in a row from the original source, you need to use quotation marks. So paraphrasing, let's talk about how you do that properly, and how do you avoid unintentional plagiarism. To avoid plagiarizing, what you should do is always write a rough draft of your essay before you begin to do any research at all. What is it you want to you want to do an outline, and what is it you want to convey? What information you want to get across to the reader with an essay? Now, this video is being made for a particular project that will come with a graphic organizer outline that will lay out precisely what it is we want you to state in your essay. So you're definitely going to use that before you begin any research. You're going to know exactly what it is we want you to find out and to relate to your reader. Number two, you clearly want to state your own points. You don't want to just use someone else's ideas and copy paste them in your essay. Number three, you need to decide where you need to research and to build your argument or to lend it credibility. In other words, you need to use your graphic organizer to realize that, well, this is a point I want to prove, so I need to go out and find research that supports that point. Number four, one of the most important things, find information that can help you, and don't just copy paste it. You may copy paste it, but then put it into your own point form notes. When you do it in point form notes, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, it'll force you to write your own sentences and will help you avoid at all costs plagiarism. Number five, if you record more than 3 words in a row, like we just said, be sure to use quotation marks. And number six, record any information you will need for your works cited page. So as you're going along, don't forget to continue to record the information that you got, where you got it from, so you don't forget later. And that should be number seven, not number four. Use your point form notes, not the original source, to add the research to your draft. And what are point form notes? It's really easy. I could tell you a long story about what I did this morning, but if I were going to just give you the very briefest points of what I did this morning, it might be I woke up, got email, got news on the phone, coffee, graded some papers, got a few things ready, and drove to school. Now, you might use point form notes to describe what you did last weekend. I want you to take a look at this. This is a brief article on single-use diapers and the damage it could cause to the environment. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different paragraphs here. But you can see here that the person who has read this article has taken point form notes. What I always tell my students is note-taking is the art of getting the biggest impact in your notes from the fewest amount of words, okay? That allows you to be more of an active participant in the classroom, more of an active listener and an active learner. So you're not writing down complete sentences when you're taking notes. You're getting the most information into the fewest amount of words. So for an example here, notes, plastic diapers in the environment. For instance, this person picked up from the third paragraph, in Toronto alone, for example, we must deal with 43 million single-use diapers per year. And so this person put in their notes, Toronto, 43 million plastic year. Another example is that this person decided to put 500,000 to haul away. And you can see that in the highlighted sentences here, 1 billion trees dead a year. Here it says reportedly 2.4 million trees in Canada and 1 billion trees worldwide are used per year, and they put it into point form notes. Finally, what this person has done is that they have used one quote from the article that they felt was really impactful, that was really important, and they're putting it into quotes because they want to use it in their writing exactly as the author put it, because they felt that it really lent some importance to what they were saying. So they put that in quotes. We're going to take a look at exactly how you would do this with your own article. Let's do that next. Here's an example paragraph that we can use. This would be an article regarding exercise and alleviating stress. And the original paragraph is, and I'm not going to read the entire thing to you, but it is well known that exercise helps to alleviate stress. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Association endorsed exercise as a way to reduce stress. It recommends cardiovascular exercise that elevates the heart rate for 15 to 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. We're looking to put this into point form notes. So for instance, what you're doing is you're summarizing things in very brief notes. let's take a look at a paraphrasing that's a little too close to the original. I'm going to highlight what some of the things are, what some of the problems are. Let's just take a look at the first sentence. The original paragraph says, "It is well known that exercise helps to alleviate stress." What the person has paraphrased is, everyone knows that exercise can help alleviate stress. Unfortunately, that's too close to the original sentence. And we can highlight things where this person, in doing their paraphrasing, has remained way too close to the original text. And what ends up happening is that they are unintentionally plagiarizing this work over and over again. The green highlight is precisely the same in the first paragraph as in the person who's paraphrased it. The purple text is more or less completely the same as the original paragraph, except that they've just switched the words around a little bit. I want you to take it, the writers just changed a few words here and there, and it's essentially the same as the original. The writers really not done any original thinking of their own. You need to put this in your own words. So let's try it on your own. Look at this paragraph and put it into point form notes. All right, welcome back. And I want to show you how brief my notes are on this entire paragraph. And to give you an idea of what good point form note taking is. For instance, for the first sentence, it says, "It's well known that exercise helps to alleviate stress. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Association endorse exercise to reduce stress." So I took a note that exercise gets rid of stress, and that's just according to the National Heart, Lung, Blood Association. They also mentioned that it elevate the heart rate for 15 to 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. I put that in a very short note. 15 to 30 minutes exercise for 4 times a week. Again, see, I'm taking very short, brief notes. Good for heart. And then also, they mentioned that endorphins are feel-good hormones that are released. They can be natural painkillers. Endorphins, they can alleviate stress, give you a perception of physical well-being, which in turn contributes to emotional and mental health. I just put down endorphins make you feel good and happy. All right. And now I'm forced to write this in my own words from here on out. So I end up with a successful paraphrase. Instead of the original paragraph that has just a few sentences changed around in a poor paraphrasing, we have a new paragraph that reads, "We all know that exercise is necessary to help us lose weight and to fight off potentially deadly diseases. But there are 2 extremely good reasons to get off the couch and get moving. Exercise will make us feel good and can help us fight stress." These are precisely what was mentioned in the article. When we exercise, our bodies release feel-good hormones called endorphins into our bloodstream. Now we've used something that's very directly from the article, so we have cited it there. That's according to Krogh. More information that we're citing directly from the article is in our next sentences. As a result, we feel better both physically and emotionally. And according to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Association, what we have to do to get this natural high is to elevate our heart rates for 15 to 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. A direct quote, and again, properly cited. And the person ends with, "Seems like a good trade to me." But to conclude, in this paraphrase, the writer's voice and style really comes through. The info from the original, it's used to support the writer's points, but not to just make them or to copy paste them into place.